This is Jonathan and Jennifer, and you're watching Well Traveled Life. Today we are on the Great Ocean Road just outside of Melbourne, going from Torquay all the way to Cape Nelson. We hope you watched our last video where we shared some of our highlights from Melbourne, but this time we're going to be outside the city and heading down south. There are about 150 miles between Torquay and Warrnambool. Most people will end the Great Ocean Road somewhere around Warrnambool or Port Fairy. We ended up going all the way to Cape Nelson because we found the most amazing spot there. It is possible to do the Great Ocean Road in a single day, either self-driving or on a bus tour. It's going to be fast though, and you're not going to be able to make as many stops. We suggest if you're doing a self-tour that you take at least a couple of days to do it because there's a lot to see along the way. It's not just the road that follows the coastline of the Southern Ocean with its craggy cliffs and amazing surf and really small, cool towns, and some really good wildlife areas as well as wineries, breweries, great local produce, and some fun adventure attractions as well. If you have time, and if you don't, you should make time, there are a number of things to do in this area. Phillip Island is close by, and this is a nature preserve. Seals, penguins, koalas, kangaroos, everything that you could want to see in its natural environment. We started our trip at the Little River Bed and Breakfast, which is actually south of Melbourne, and it got us out of the city. We spent the night there, and that gave us access to the Great Ocean Road. We still had to get through Geelong, which is the second largest city in Victoria, the next morning, but we were right close to the highway on our way to Torquay. The bed and breakfast itself is really charming. You will feel like you're out in the middle of absolutely nowhere in this old ranch-style building with incredibly eclectic art and artifacts throughout both the interior and the exterior. The rooms were very nice, and we were treated to a really great Australian breakfast the next morning before we got on our way. The Great Ocean Road officially starts in Torquay. It is known for its surf culture, the cliffs, the big beaches, and those awesome waves. So stop and grab pictures before you get down the road. And as you head down the coastline, you're going to find there's a number of places to stop. You want to look for those villages that are having craft markets or community events and the things that will connect you to the people and the places that you are. It's so much more than just seeing the view. It's about really learning the place. Between Anglesey and Erie's Inlet, you'll find Urkart Bluff. There's a great car park there where you can look out over the bluffs. This is not a great swimming beach, but it is an amazing surf beach. There are some less steep rocks that you can climb down to get to the beach, or if you go to the very sort of northernmost area around Point Knight Road, there is a path that will get you or a car down closer to the beach. Erie's Inlet makes for a great stop, whether it's lunchtime for you, depending on how many stops you've made or not. There's a great little town, usually a lot going on, really beautiful views, and it's easy to get to the split point Lighthouse. Just past Lorne, there are 3 different waterfalls, Shoke, Henderson, and Erskine. As you go inland, you'd get to each one of those. Depending on how much rainfall there has been will determine how fully those falls are running. Remember what I said, this is about the stops. So we made a quick one at the Great Ocean Road Brew House. It's a lively place on the way to Marengo. Just past Marengo, the road will veer inland a little bit, cutting off Cape Otway. There's some really great things to do here though. As you go inland, just on the other side of Marengo, you will find the Wildlife Wonders Natural Preserve Park, which is completely worth a stop to see native animals in their native habitat. This is a sanctuary preserve and not a zoo. But you will also see wildlife in their natural environment as you're driving. Once you're past the Otway National Park and you come around that cape, as you go through Princetown, keep your eyes open. That's where you're going to turn back out to the coast, and all of a sudden, this amazing world opens up. If there's a big prize on the Great Ocean Road, it's here. You are coming upon the 12 Apostles, which are these limestone outcroppings in the ocean that have been worn away by erosion and the sea. And there are lots of stopping off points where you can get out, you can get onto the beach, you can look at it from above, but stop. Take your time. There's even a walkway that will take you along this cliff edge, and you can see the views from the walkway. End the Great Ocean Road at Warrnambool or go on over to Port Fairy and turn around. But we went ahead and kept going towards Cape Nelson. This took us an extra hour and a half for the trip, but we thought it was completely worth it because we had this really terrific place to stay at the Lighthouse at Cape Nelson. Portland is your nearest town, so you'd want to stop and get groceries and that sort of thing before you get there, but stay on and take a look at the place where we're staying. Portland is also the starting and stopping point for the Great Southwest Walk. It is a 250-kilometer loop walk that takes you along the really rugged coastline, up to the high forest, along the river, and through tons of wildlife, and past the lighthouse. The walk itself is relatively easy. It's on flat land, has very well marked trails with lots of good signage. You can do the walk in parts, or you can do the entire loop, and if you're doing the whole loop, you'll need a place to stay. There are campsites along the way that provide fireplaces and running water, a restroom, and there is a shelter, but you're expected to bring a tent of your own. You can also rent one of the 5 cottages at the Cape Nelson Lighthouse, which is right along the walk. We stayed in the Sunset Cottage, which is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home with a fully equipped kitchen, including a dishwasher, a laundry room, as well as a large, luxurious bathroom, and a living room with a fully functioning fireplace and flat-screen TV. The views to the lighthouse are magnificent. You're right on the walk. We had kangaroos waiting for us in the front yard when we arrived, and they provide a full breakfast in the fridge with lots of delicious goodies, fresh eggs, bacon and jams, everything you could want to be comfortable. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you haven't seen our video from the city of Melbourne, check that one out next.